business industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. I'm your host, property management growth expert Jason Hull, the founder and CEO of DoorGrow, along with Sarah Hull, co-founder and COO of DoorGrow. Now, let's get into the show. All right, so the topic we decided to talk about today is how to get the best leads for property management. We talked about previously the difference between cold and warm leads, right? So not all leads are equal. And if you missed that episode, go check that out. I highly recommend it. It will save you a ton of money and time wasting your energy, cash, effort, etc. So today we're going to talk about some of the best strategies. We're not going to go into a lot of detail. If you want to go deeper with us, you can reach out and we can coach you through this stuff and help you grow your business without spending a bunch of money on marketing. All right. So why don't we kick this off and we can tell them a little bit about the neighbor strategy, which we have a really cool training on that we will give to the audience for free. We'll tell you how you can get it.
Let's do it.
So do you want to intro that one?
No, you do it because this is your whole thing. I have you set up the whole page, so you do it.
Okay.
I don't want to miss anything.
So the neighbor strategy is a really simple concept. And the concept is you probably have gotten a phone call before at your property management office and somebody said, hey, do you manage in X area, in some sort of area? And the answer was no. And you just said no, or your team just said no, and they hung up. They said, nope, we don't, sorry. And that is a perfectly good lead that somebody, one of your neighbors, would love to have. And you just threw it in the garbage. So the analogy I use, if you go to neighborstrategy.com and get our this free training, you'll learn how to make this strategy work. But it's really simple. Our clients never get told no. They reach out to neighboring property management companies. They just explain this. Hey, sometimes I get calls for your area, and I usually just throw that gold in the garbage. Would you like to have it? And they always say yes. And in that, I teach how to convert. Even if that's a cold lead that came in for them, I teach you how to convert that or have your neighbors convert that if you share the neighborstrategy.com landing page with them so they can learn the training, how to convert that from a cold lead, 10% close rate, into a 90% close rate warm lead. So you're able to refine this gold for them, give it to them, and they can then get this gold and they're getting business. And so we've got clients that are doing that with each other, that are in neighboring markets. You can even do this with property management companies that are in your market that focus on a different niche than you. So if you do single family residential largely or small multi, there might be commercial companies and they get asked, hey, can you also manage my rental home? And no, and they throw it in the trash. You would probably like to have that, right? And so neighbor strategy is a simple way, and you can stack and add neighbors all around your market, neighboring property management companies, capturing some of that rain that they can't capture that could go to you, and companies that are in your market that are a different niche than you. And I give you scripts, I give you the language to use, and I have drawings, and I explain how this all works and how to convert these from a cold lead into a warm lead and how to get your neighboring partners to do this as well. It's really a simple strategy that is super effective. So I highly recommend you check out neighborstrategy.com. Go get this free training. We want to give this out because we know that if you have neighbors that are doing this strategy, then everybody wins, everybody benefits. This benefits the entire industry. And it's really simple. Like, leads should not be getting lost. And we don't want them just going and searching on Google, becoming cold, desensitized, looking at cheap pricing, and becoming terrible potential clients. That hurts the entire industry. So this is a way to benefit the entire industry, which is part of our mission here at DoorGrow. All right. Next strategy.
Well, before we move on.
Oh, okay.
Before we move on, I think with the neighbor strategy, everyone, let's just address the elephant in the room, because everyone goes, I don't want people to know what I know. Like, I want to be different, and like I want to keep my knowledge a secret, right? That's I hear this all the time where they're like, I don't want anybody else to know. And it's that kind of mindset that really holds us back because there is just so much abundance. And if you put yourself in a scarcity mindset, really that's like you're going to experience that.
You'll experience
Um,
scarcity.
for sure, like for sure. Especially in the US, like there is no shortage of business if you're a
Mm.
property manager. Most people do not know what property managers are. The ones that know what property managers are, they might not have a great perception of what property managers do. Why? Because they may have been burned in the past. They may have had like a really bad experience. They may just go, oh, well, yeah, but you just do like rent collection. Like, I could do that myself. And any of us property managers that have had a conversation like that, it's hard to not laugh when someone's like, I could do it myself. You're like, okay, do it yourself. Call me when you're ready. Do it yourself. And if you blow it up so bad, I probably won't even want to help you at that point because it's just going to be a huge mess for me. But there's so much that goes into it, right? So we have to also kind of keep in mind that if we really think about it, like you can kind of break this down by almost any sector, right? So if you see like a fast food chain like Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's, very, very rarely are they the only one in a huge area. They do better when there's more of them like packed closer. So it's funny because you notice this when we drive around. Every time there's like a CVS, we'll see a CVS, and very close by, somewhere there's a Walgreens. Why would that be, right? So, why do these multi-million dollar companies choose to put a CVS here and right across the street, a Walgreens? If they were worried about competition, do you think that they would do that? Hell no. They'd be like, well, if CVS is there, I'm going way over here. But they know that by putting two similar options close together, it's actually going to draw in more business. Property management works very similarly. And the other thing to kind of keep in mind with this is I think there are three like neighbors kind of to target. One is neighbors that are outside of your area.
Mm-hmm.
So if you cover like Austin, but I don't go to Round Rock, well, then find somebody in Round Rock, right? Like find people who border the area that you cover. That's the first one. The second one is find people that cover the same area that you cover, but in a different sector, like Jason said. So maybe I only do residential. I might want to partner with somebody who does commercial because odds are at one point in time, I'm going to find somebody who wants commercial and I don't do it. And I'd love to have somebody to pass that on to, and vice versa. And the third one, and this is the one where everybody goes, I'm not doing that. Just test it and try it. And I used to do this myself, so I'm not steering you in a direction that I would never have done. Find someone in your area does the same exact thing that you do. Now, everybody here goes, whoa, no, that's scary. I'm not giving business away to my competitors. Well, here's the thing, is not all business is business that you want to take. And that's something that you really have to get solid in, is what business, what properties, what clients, what tenants do I want to take and what do I want to have in my portfolio? Because if you work with us at DoorGrow, we train everyone on the cycle of suck. And it's super easy to get like trapped in that. And it's because you just take on everything. You do not want to take on everything. So if you have, and it doesn't mean that they're a bad client, maybe they're just not a fit for what you do. Maybe there's just, you could tell like the relationship isn't probably going to be super great. So I am super happy when I was running my business. I was happy to give those off to somebody else. Why? Because I would rather them work with another property manager, even if it is my competitor. I would rather give that to a property manager so that they at least have some kind of chance with their rental property versus, well, I'm just going to do it myself. And we all know, guys, we all know how that works.
Mm.
So those are the three that you would want to target with the neighbor strategy.
Yeah. Didn't you get some leads coming from a neighbor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got mostly from like neighbors that were outside of my area.
Mm-hmm.
My competitors were the type that would just take on anything. So
Oh, yeah.
they were, and
Any
it was
type of
fun to me
management.
because I was like, well, if they're not a fit for me, because I was a lot more picky. So if they're not a fit for me, if then I'm not taking them anyway. It's not like, oh, well, I'm going to give Jason this lead that I want. No, you're not going to give away leads that you want, right? You're just, if you don't want to take the business, if it's not a fit, if you like, it's just not going to work out, then does it hurt to give it away? No. They're going to have a better experience with some property manager than trying to do it on their own. And we want investors to have a good experience with their rental properties, even if it's not with you, because they're going to then buy more investment properties, right? And this is going to like promote the industry. So this like scarcity mindset, we have to kill it. We have to get out of it.
Yeah. I think 1 month you got 5 doors from a neighboring property manager.
1 month I got like 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So,
Got a
and that's
lot.
from one, right? And
Mhm.
so if people are intentional, especially if you're in, larger markets, if you can hit all the people that are around your market or people that sometimes get called or asked about your market, then you can get a bunch of business,
Yeah.
right? It can add up. All
Yeah,
right.
for sure. Like we even have clients. We have a bunch of clients like in the like LA Orange County area,
Hmm.
but it's so crazy there with the traffic. Like like
Yeah.
on the map it says it
It's a
could
big
take you
area.
like 15 minutes, but because of traffic it might take you an hour and a half or like 2 hours,
Yeah.
right? So we even have like clients in our program that like refer business back and forth just because they know because of the traffic. They're like, well, if it's on the North Point, I just don't want to take it. So that's another, and that's people in the same area that do the same thing that they do. And it makes your life easier because now your operational costs are going to be lower because you're not trying to drive like 2 hours to go do an inspection.
All right. Let's talk about reviews next.
Cool.
So one strategy that's helped some of my clients add easily 200 doors in a year if they get this game dialed in is online reviews. Now, all of you know this game, you think. And a lot of you try to play this game and you think you know how to get reviews, but what we focus on at DoorGrow is focusing on reviews as if it's a sales lead, like putting it into your pipeline, following up, and getting the majority of every new tenant and every new owner to give you a review. And there's a way of doing this so that it doesn't sound slimy and it doesn't sound like a used car salesman,
Mm-hmm.
in a way that they want to help you back and reciprocate. And we have scripts for this. We have ways that we help clients do this. And we have a tool to facilitate that and make the process even easier, which is Gather Kudos, which any of you can sign up for Gather Kudos at gatherkudos.com. It can integrate with things like Property Meld, and it just makes a review funnel that makes it easier for you to get valid feedback in your business, whether it's good or bad. And if it's good, it pushes them to choose a review site and gives them directions how to do it. So it just lubricates that process, makes it so much easier for your prospects to leave good reviews, because we know that the negative reviewers are highly motivated and the good reviewers need a little bit of motivation. And so we have a training called Reputation Secrets where we teach how this can work super effectively. We've got clients that are crushing their competition in getting more reviews because they're getting almost all of their tenants and owners to get reviews. If they really build this growth engine out, they can at least get the majority of each new tenant and owner to give them reviews. And if you're growing and adding doors, you're getting new tenants, you're getting new owners, and you can then be also getting new reviews. And if you're crushing it at the review game, that's better than having the top spot on Google, because reviews function like warm leads.
Mm-hmm. And then James and Brian, when they came into the program, like when Brian came on, I think he said they had some online reviews, but they were either like a 2 something or a 3 something online. So like
Mm.
not super great, right? Why? Because all the people who were angry were like, I'm gonna be a keyboard warrior. And then they focused on the strategy and they got up to over 4 stars. And I think that helped them break the 1,000 door barrier.
Yeah.
They had added like over 400 doors in 1 year. And this was part of the strategy that helped them do that.
Yeah. In less than a year. So the cool thing about this strategy of building this particular growth engine is that this is one that is very easily done by your team. This doesn't have to be your BDM. It doesn't have to be a salesy person. It doesn't have to be the business owner. This one can easily be done by your team, and it can be systematized. It can just be part of your tenant and owner onboarding process if you build this engine correctly. So, and I guess that's all we probably need to say about that one.
Yeah.
It's a really great strategy, really
It's a
simple,
great strategy.
feeds you
And
warm
like
leads.
it's free. It's a
Yeah.
free strategy. This is not costing you any kind of money. You're not, spending money on marketing or advertising or
Yeah.
ads or nothing like that. And it's really great. I had so many clients contacting me or prospective clients contacting me because they're like, "Oh, I saw your reviews."
Yeah, this strategy also helps boost your local SEO. If you're familiar with local SEO or ranking, Google looks at review diversity, which means getting reviews from lots of different channels. So Gather Kudos and our method helps with you getting more reviews, not just on Google, but also Yelp and maybe
Like Facebook,
Angie's List, City Search,
Thumbtack.
Thumbtack, whatever you have or are using, right? And so review diversity, review quantity, so getting more reviews on each of those channels, and the review ratings, like getting good ratings. This helps filter out the bad ratings as well and helps you capture it locally so you can actually do something to mitigate that and help those people, which is what they usually really want. Um, and so it makes the whole process easier. So we highly recommend that strategy. Very easy growth engine to build out if you understand how, and we train our clients on that. Um, so let's talk about the one that probably is one of the fastest methods to grow a property management business. I mean, one of our clients that added over 400 doors, at another client that had 310 in doors in just a year. This strategy, if you have, especially if you have a full-time BDM, and if you don't, we can help you with the hiring piece and training of a BDM so you don't make mistakes there. Because we get a lot of people coming from BDM coaching companies and BDM placement companies that do not have good experiences. And then we help them clean that up. And people don't even know that we focus on that. So this would be referrals from real estate agents or from a variety of other sources that we
Mhm.
talk about. But this can be very effective, but usually is very ineffective. Most property managers try to focus on this and get very few referrals on a monthly basis.
Yeah. And I was lumped in that too, even back in my insurance days, because I was doing insurance and I was doing property management when I first started out. And I was like, oh, I'll get referrals from everyone and it'll be so great because everybody will just send me business. And I was doing everything the wrong way and I wasn't getting a lot of referrals. And then things started to shift when I realized, hey, this is not working the way that I wanted it to work. So I had to make some changes to make it work better. But everyone, like, they just always go about it the wrong way because this is a really common thought is like, hey, I'll get referrals. Like, this is how a lot of businesses work is on referrals. So I'll just do that. And then what happens is they start to focus on getting referrals. They don't know exactly how to make it work, but they just think, hey, it's simple. Like, you should just be able to send me business. And then they wait. And usually nothing comes in. Or if
Right.
something comes in, it's like, thanks, but that's not really what I wanted.
Yeah, the secret is you actually have to destroy the idea of getting referrals in the mind of the people you want referrals from and get something better. And so I've touched on that on some previous episodes if you dig around, but this is some of the really magical stuff that we share with clients, how they can get more real estate agents, connecting them to investors and close a lot more deals. And this creates warm leads. They're easy to close. They're early in the sales cycle. You can charge more money than typical in these situations. And so it's a win-win-win for all three parties all the way around. This is the fastest way I know of to grow a property management business. It works really well. But there's a lot of pitfalls in this. There's a lot of mistakes.
Mhm.
We've listened to phone calls of some of our, clients, setters or BDMs trying to like get relationships created with real estate agents and doing the outbound partner prospecting stuff that we talk about. And there's a lot of failures. And
Mhm.
we have to coach them through this. And this is a growth engine that takes probably 90 days to build effectively to get to work effectively. The first 30 days, you're going to build that engine from scratch. And the second 30 days, we're going to make some major tweaks and changes. And then the last 30 days is where you start to hit pay dirt, where we tweak things to get that last 10% of dialing things in that gives you 90% of the results. And this is where the magic happens. And most people quit too early, don't do it enough. They just go present to a big real estate office meeting while people stare at their phones and wonder why nobody like gives them leads and it doesn't work. And they're like, I've tried referrals, I've tried that, So we hear that all the time. You have not tried it the way that we do it.
Mhm.
And because it works. And if it's not working for you, you're doing it wrong. That's all I'll say. All right. So let's talk about groups.
Okay. Let's
So,
talk about groups.
so
Can we talk about the big mistake with groups?
sure.
So everyone goes, "Oh, a group. I'll do a BNI."
Oh yeah.
Wah wah.
Or a chamber of commerce. So we hear this all the time, like, oh, I go to the BNI or I go to Chamber of Commerce, and I mean that one's really simple. And
Mm,
to throw people a bone, we get asked this all the time. Well, I'm thinking of joining a BNI group. Would that be effective? The answer is usually no, because the way BNI works is you're going to have one expert in each category, which means there might be one
mhm.
real estate agent there you might be able to get a referral from. You'll have one property manager, which is kind of nice. You don't have competition, right? But the challenge is most of the people there are not your target audience, and a lot of them are not able to connect you to your target audience. And there are better groups available in which you can either create the group and own it, or you can go find groups that exist and be part of it, in which you can have an entire group of potential referral partners or an entire group of potential clients. And that's probably the first big step is just like if you're going to go hunting, go where the game actually is. So um, now groups, we recommend you do groups after you get good at one-on-one.
Mhm.
And the challenge is most people go and try and present to a group and they think, this is going to be so great. And they have no way of collecting people's information that are interested in the group. They don't know how to optimize that. They don't know the things to say. They don't understand concepts like trial closes and getting people to buy into things. They don't understand how to create leverage and how to get leads. You should be able to walk away from any group situation with leads
And
from
appointments.
Yes, with scheduled appointments.
Mhm.
And we teach our clients how to do this, how to optimize this, and how to identify and capture the people that are quick early adopters, the people that take a little bit more nurturing, and the people that are a bit more skeptical. And this is something that you do throughout your presentation if you're doing it effectively. But it doesn't make sense to go do a group presentation if you're not good at selling yet and you're not good at one-on-one interactions and you haven't built up the ability to close deals one-on-one, because the groups, you're not going to close people in a group situation. You don't close them in a group situation. At best you can get a one-on-one interaction typically scheduled, and then you can close them. And so we need to teach you how first to be really good at one-on-one, and then you can graduate to doing the group thing. But don't waste a good group
Mhm.
opportunity. These are not super common. If somebody's like, hey, I'll let you come present to my group, and you blow it,
Yeah. Yeah.
you wasted probably hundreds of doors of business that you could have
Mhm.
gotten if it's a decent sized group. One of our clients went to a group, used a presentation that we gave him, and he was able to close in his first time. He went to this group. It was a realtor investors association, real estate investor association, a RIA group, whatever. And he was able to present to like 300 people. The group had like 500. And he walked away, and he had been stuck at like 60 doors for the first 3 or so years of his business. He couldn't figure out how to get ahead. He got 20 doors that month from doing one presentation. He got 4 or 5 owners. They each gave him like 4 or 5 units or something like that. And he was able to add about 20 doors a month from just hanging out at this group. and being part of this group. And he spent maybe max about 5 hours a month investing time into this group. That is that's an amazing return. 5 hours a month to get 20 doors a month, right? He was at 300 doors in 6 months of using this strategy. And then his business started to fall apart a little bit because he was adding too many doors. And back then, way back then, we didn't have the systems that we have to help clients with that problem. We're like, we need to help clients solve that problem. And we're really, really good at that. So we're good at solving that problem now. Like, how do I deal with all these doors that I'm getting on? Which is a problem we think is super easy to create for our clients, to start adding enough doors that it gets painful. So groups can be very effective, but make sure you get good at one-on-one first so you don't waste those opportunities. I've heard so many stories of wasted opportunities presenting to a group of real estate agents. And then afterwards they're like, I don't know. How'd I do? I don't know. I think I did okay. Some couple people came up to me and said I did all right. Cool. Did you get any appointments or leads or anything scheduled? Nothing, right? So, and then maybe a lead here will trickle in like over time, but that's not effective. So a lot of these growth strategies, they stack and they compound on each other. Let's touch on one more to wrap this up.
Okay.
Last one. This is a strategy we love to use with startups because startups, they don't have a lot of confidence. They don't have a lot of knowledge. They're lacking a lot of knowledge about property management. And one of the big gaps in knowledge that they don't have, that a lot of you that have been doing this for a long time and you've talked to a lot of owners, is they don't understand their prospects' pain. They don't understand the prospects' concerns. They don't understand the language that their potential clients use. And they don't understand the objections that are preventing them. And knowing all of that sometimes can take people a decade to really dial in. And so our way of collapsing time on this dramatically quickly, like really fast, is a technique called, or strategy called, product research interviews. And this is also a great way to get your initial pool of clients, even if you're starting from zero. And so this strategy can work very well. Basically, you're going to, sometimes I call this the Trojan horse of selling, but you're going to interview, and we have the script for the interview. We have the 4-phase process for doing this. If you do this correctly, if you interview people that have rental properties and you do this effectively, you will be getting clients, because getting clients is about having conversations with your target audience. And this gives you an excuse and an in to be able to get to know your target audience, to ask them questions and allow them to help you and give you advice and feedback, and to figure out why they haven't used a property manager yet, why they are not currently working with a property manager, and to then be able to deal with all these and learn how to deal with all these objections, and then how to do the ultimate pitch and how to solicit them in a non-salesy way to give you another opportunity to pitch. But you get to pitch during this interview. You get to pitch your services to people that may not have considered property management before. So this is an easy way to get your foot in the door and get some of your first initial clients and build a relationship of trust. And that can be very effective. Did you want to say anything about product research interviews?
No, Michael used it. He was still over the 200 something
That's
door
true,
mark.
yeah.
And he used it. And I think he said he added like 5 or 6 doors in 1 week. And that was only after doing a few phone calls.
He said 10. He added 10.
I don't remember.
Something like 10.
I
So
don't remember exactly how many. I could go back and look at the stats.
yeah, Michael Sullivan, he was on one of our podcast interviews we just did recently. Really great episode. Highly recommend you check it out. But he was like, well, I'll try this. And I'm an experienced property manager. He just came up with a different excuse to interview people instead of saying, hey, I'm starting a business and wanted to get some feedback. He used a different strategy and used this strategy, and he was able to add doors from the first person that he interviewed. And we've had clients have that situation happen as well. So this can work as not just for startups, but it can work for anybody. In fact, this is the strategy I used when I first started our mastermind. I did product research interviews to figure out how can I create the ultimate mastermind? Cool. I'll just interview people and ask them, what do you want? It was a little bit more complex than that, but that's kind of the idea. And that allowed me then to say, hey, would you be interested in this if I launched it? And it had some of what you mentioned and the stuff that I'm pitching you on. And everybody says yes. And then I probably closed about half of them. And so that's how I started the mastermind, so that I had a nice cohort and a pool of people to kick things off with. So, and this is one of the strategies I've used over and over again with new product launches or new offers to figure out how do I make this as good as possible. And this will help you make your product and your offer and your pitch as good as possible. Really cool strategy. And we've got the goods on how to do that as well. And we've got other growth strategies, but these are some great ways to get leads that cost less money, they take less time, and they get you more warm leads, and you'll close more deals more easily at a higher price point and than if you do cold lead advertising. So there you go. And that's
Yeah.
how to add lead, like get leads without doing SEO, without doing pay per click, without doing content marketing, without doing social media marketing, without doing pay per lead services. Internet marketing. You don't have to do internet marketing in order to grow your business and to grow faster than those that are. So, and that's it. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Then until next time, to our mutual growth, everybody, make sure to join our free Facebook group, doorgrowclub.com. We put trainings in there, we give out information, and our goal in that group is to nurture you and warm you up so you can trust us and become one of our clients. We then can change your life. And that's what we want to do, is to transform this industry. Until next time, to our mutual growth. Bye, everyone.